Got some teammates in here. I'm a little nervous, man. This might be hard and getting ready for a game in front of 80,000 people. Talking to you guys, the media, and teammates. I didn't expect to have this many teammates here, so thank you guys. Appreciate that. I just want to kind of keep this short and simple. I'll try to hold it together as much as I possibly can. But I just want to tell my story. I was born to a mother and father that was a cop and a nurse. My dad worked all day, would work all night to be able to provide for his family. And I can remember my dad getting home at 4 o'clock in the morning and then getting back up at 7 to go to work. Spent a lot of time at work to just provide for his family. Mom, was at work and working night shifts and things like that just so she could be home with me during the day. And so there was a lot of sacrifices made throughout the years for my family to give me and my sister the things that we were able to have growing up. At 4 years old, I started playing football, full padded football in the town of Splendora, Texas. I can still remember to this day going down Tram Road, taking a left there and being at the football fields. And I actually got to take a trip down there a few years ago and see what a 4-year-old looks like in a full uniform. It's pretty comical, man. They look like they're wearing skinny jeans with pads in it, helmets that are probably 4 sizes too big, shoulder pads that look more like body armor. They kind of look like the big guy from Game of Thrones, so it's pretty comical, but it brought a lot of memories back. I grew up being a pretty talented kid. I played running back and linebacker in Little League growing up. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm pretty good. And being from a small town, that can be a good thing, but that's also a bad thing. Because I got to the point where I thought I was so good that I didn't have to work for it. And I can remember to this day, I get into junior high, at Splendora Junior High, and I go tell the coach, hey, I'm going to play running back and linebacker. And the coach tells me, well, we'll see how tryouts go. I go through tryouts. I come and look at the list, and the list says that I'm going to be a center and a D tackle. And so I come back and I'm like, hey man, I want to play running back and linebacker. He's like, son, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not athletic enough to play running back and linebacker. At that point was when I think the real work ethic set in for me. I remember going through 7th and 8th grade, working very hard to try to be better. Finally, I got moved to fullback, which everyone knows is basically a tight end. So that just does nothing but block. So I never got the ball. So still was pretty bitter about that. But I can remember my dad telling me, do you really want to know what it takes to be good? And I said, yeah, I do. He said, no. He said, you don't understand what I'm saying. Do you really want to know what it takes to be good? He goes, because I'm telling you right now, you're not good. I said, well, yeah, show me. And I can remember my dad taking me like it was yesterday. He went to North Shore High School, which is a big 5A school down in Texas, well 6A now. Every year they're ranked top in the state. And they were playing Converse Judson High School, which back in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you wanted a state championship, it pretty much ran through Converse Judson or North Shore. I remember my dad taking me down there, and North Shore at the time had guys like Cedric Cormier and Corey Redding. I think they had 5 or 6 guys off of that team alone that went pro. They probably had another 11 guys that went to Division I colleges. I mean, they were the deal. And after watching that game, lack of a better word, I looked at myself and I said, you ain't crap. And at that point, the work ethic started. I told my dad when I left that football game that I wanted to work harder than anybody else because I wanted to be better than anybody else. And at that age, I started working out every day at the top of a garage, 110-degree heat, pumping iron, running. I can remember my dad putting a chain on a tire and making me pull it to the end of the driveway and back. And I thought my legs were going to fall off every single day. But I thank him for that because he made me the player and the man that I am today with my work ethic by starting that. So fast forward to going into high school, I hit a growth spurt. I went from 5'7", 165 to 6'1", 205 over one summer. And I was in the weight room, and I can remember this coach with a flat top coming in, and he kind of talked like this, you know, and he said, "I'm Coach Bawyer, what's your name?" And I said, "I'm Brian Robison." "Where are you from, Brian?" I said, "Well, I'm actually from here in Splendora." He goes, "Oh, you just moved into the district?" I said, "No, sir, been here the whole time." I said, "Played junior high ball last year." And he said, "Well, you're a big boy." And I was like, "Well, I'm just working hard, Coach." He said, "I'm going to go grab the other coaches." So he brought Coach Briggs and Coach Kevin Weldon, who was the head coach of the football team at that time. And this guy's name was Coach Bawyer. And they came in and talked to me for a little while. And I remember telling them, I want to be on varsity my freshman year. And I remember Coach Weldon looking at me and saying, "Well, we've never had a freshman on varsity here." And I said, "Well, I want to be the first." Fast forward, we get to the season. I play the first game on JV, played pretty well. The next game, we're getting to play one of the teams that's top in the state in our division. And he's got me at nose tackle. And I'm like, what the heck am I at nose tackle? I'm a linebacker. So once again, I'm thinking, here we go again. I'm not good enough. So I finally come to him. I said, "Hey, I just got to know, why am I playing nose tackle?" He said, "Son, we've got an all-state center on this team that we're playing. We ain't got nobody quick enough to get in the backfield, and I need you to just shoot a gap and get in the backfield." I said, "All right, well, I guess I'll do it." And he said, "By the way, you're going to be playing varsity football game." Well, heck yeah, I'll be your nose tackle. And so, needless to say, the first 3 plays, I got the crap kicked out of me. And it was raining. First play, he drives me into the ground, and I've got ants all over me. If you're from the country, you know what I'm talking about. I got ants all over me. I'm pulling my pants out. I'm trying to get the ants out and everything like that. And now I'm just mad. I proceeded to end up getting like 4 tackles for loss against an all-state center my freshman year, first game on varsity. So I went through high school, was very highly touted once I got to my junior year. But even to this day, those 3 coaches are still like father figures to me. So I want to thank them for everything that they've done for me throughout the years, whether it be in high school, whether it be in college, all the way up until the present. They've meant a great deal to me, them, and their families. So fast forward to my junior year, I started getting recruited. I was actually a huge Florida State fan and a huge Texas A&M fan. I would watch Florida State day in and day out with Charlie Ward and Warwick Dunn and Peter Warwick and all those guys. I mean, I was a huge fan. And I've got a story, but I'm not going to go into it. I know Limbo over there is wanting me to go into it, but needless to say, Florida State quit recruiting me pretty quick. I went on a trip to Texas A&M, and sorry, Aggies, but I absolutely hated it. And so I left there thinking, all right, it's going to be either LSU, Texas, Arkansas, or Houston. Those were kind of the 4 teams that I was leaning towards. I loved the coaching staff at the University of Houston, but at that time, they just weren't a very good football team. And I remember I started getting talked to by this coach at the University of Texas. His name was Darryl Drake. He was the wide receivers coach there. He went on to coach many years in the NFL. And he said, I want you to come up when you're at Texas Relays for track and field, and I want you to come over and talk to Mac Brown. So I'm like, cool. So I get done throwing at Texas Relays. We walk over to Mac Brown, and Mac Brown starts talking about, well, Ryan, we can do this for you, and we can do that for you, and we'd love for you to be a part of this program, and me and Sally will take you into our house and have dinner. And so I'm thinking, this guy's acting like I'm already here. And my mom finally goes, so I got to ask you, are you going to offer Brian? Well, Mrs. Robison, I thought you already knew that. And we had no idea that they were going to offer me. They offered me. A week later, I committed to the University of Texas. Ended up going there, winning a national championship in 2005, winning back-to-back Rose Bowls. Had some great coaches while I was there. Guys that cared about you as people as much as they did as a football player. And one of the guys that I got to really thank, because he moved me from linebacker again to defensive end, was Dick Tomey. Dick Tomey just passed away a few days ago. Very sad to hear about that passing. So prayers out to him and his family. But he was the guy who kind of started my career as a defensive end. Him and Greg Robinson, and then Gene Chiswick and Oscar Giles came in. They taught me so many things about football and about life as well. And then, of course, Coach Brown and the rest of the University of Texas for giving me that opportunity, not only to spend my time at the University of Texas, but to give me a gateway to the Minnesota Vikings. So we fast forward to me getting drafted here in Minnesota in 2007. And I remember looking at my wife when we got the call, and she's like, who is it? And I'm like, we're going to Minnesota. And I see her, and she just literally gets this somber look on her face. Well, there's so much going on. She's like, just enjoy your time with your family. Like, we'll have fun. I'm like, okay, we'll talk about it later. Later comes around. I say, Jamie, what's wrong? And she just goes into tears. There's going to be nothing but snow and ice, and it's going to be cold, and I don't know how to deal with that. Well, you're talking about a woman who, when it gets down to 65 degrees, she puts a jacket on. It's too cold for her. So we kind of had the same idea. It's the frozen tundra. It's Antarctica up here, right? Well, needless to say, it couldn't have been further from the truth for us. We got here. The day we moved into our house in Savage, Minnesota, we met another part of our family. We met probably the greatest neighbors that anybody could ever have. And they ended up being like another mother and another father to us. They're sitting in the back of the room over there. So Rich, Nancy, we can't thank you enough for everything y'all have done. And we love y'all. Fast forward to 2009. We've got Brett Favre here. We got Jared Allen. We've got stars on this team, man. And I feel blessed to be a part of it. We get all the way to 2009 NFC Championship game. And we lose it. We didn't get beat. We lost it. We had way too many turnovers, too many mistakes in the game. And that was the first real time that I was able to sit there and think that was an opportunity that got squandered. That team should have brought a Super Bowl championship to the state of Minnesota. No doubt in my mind, hands down. But it just didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Team's got to move on, right? So we move on. We keep playing. Crazy things happen after that. The dome collapses. Yeah, that was a fiasco. Have to move a Sunday night game to a Tuesday night game, and you're playing a home game in Detroit. How weird is that? The one thing I can say about this organization is I felt they always did their best to hire the best coaches, the best trainers, the best weight room staff, and the best people that they possibly could in order to make this organization tick and make us be successful. I look around the room right now and I've got some of the best coaches in this room that I've ever had. But they're not only the best coaches, they're the best people. This staff that I think they have right now, in my opinion, is the best staff that could be assembled by a football team. They're the smartest coaches. They understand the game. They understand their players. They know how to push them, how to get the most out of them, how to push you to the brink of where you feel like you are going to break down and then lift you up. But they also care about you as people in real life situations. And I can't thank them enough for that. I can't tell you how many times that Coach Zimmer pushed me to my breaking point. But it made me a better player for it, physically and mentally, because he brought things out of me that I didn't even think I could do. I remember the day that Coach Zimmer told me he wanted me to drop inside number 2, and I had to carry him if he went vertical. And I remember the first time it happened in the game, it was against Brandon Marshall. And I'm cussing him the whole time. He wants to put me on Brandon Marshall. Like, what? Well, guess what? I carried him, and I covered him pretty dang well. I'm glad they didn't throw the ball to him after 25 yards. But, once again, didn't think I could do that. So thank you for that. Coach Patterson. The last few years, you've been like a father to me. I will always cherish our time on the field, but I will cherish our time off the field even more. You taught me things about life, about relationships outside this building, about the changing world today. You opened my eyes to things that I never would have imagined. And I never would have had that opportunity without being here with you. So, thank you. You will always be a part of my life. And these guys in your room right now should know what you mean to them. They should know what you mean to this organization, what you mean to this team, and what type of man you are. I can't thank you enough for your time here. You told me the first conversation we had, I know you're an established veteran in this league. I know you've had great years as a player, but if you listen to me, I will make you a better player, and I will prolong your career. Can remember that conversation plain as day. It took a little coaxing, even a big argument after a Buffalo Bills game, but I bought in. And it was the best thing that I ever did, because you came through with everything you said you would. You made me a better player. You made me a better person because of our conversation. So thank you. Our 2017 football team was probably the best football team that I've ever been a part of. From top to bottom, not only with athleticism, but our locker room dynamic. We truly were a brotherhood. There's been guys that have come and gone that were at the top of their game. But that locker room that was assembled that year was a championship caliber football team. It was a brotherhood of guys that truly cared about each other. As I sit here and I look at my teammates in this room now, I love you guys. You guys are my brothers that I never had. You guys can always pick up that phone and call me. You guys will be a part of my life for the rest of my life. And I mean that. I love you guys. One thing I learned about being in the NFL is you got to enjoy each and every day. If you go into the NFL thinking you're going to wake up at 6 a.m., be miserable, go through the motions of practice, and just try to make it home, you're not going to make it very long. We got to say, you got to embrace the grind. You got to go out there, and I tried every single day to make it fun, not only for myself, but the guys around me. Whether that was being DJ White Chocolate, or the 96 questions, or just saying some of the dumbest stuff that you've ever heard in your life. I tried to make it fun not only for myself, but the guys around me. Because I knew that if we were loose and we were having fun, we had a better chance to win on Sunday, because we'd be loose. We'd have fun. I think 2017 showed that. Every week we went out, we just had fun. We played loose. And we knew we were going to kick your tail on Sunday. At this time, I want to thank the organization for giving me an opportunity in 2007 by drafting me and keeping me around for 11 years. It's pretty nice, too. I want to thank the Vikings PR and Vikings Entertainment Network for allowing me to do the things that I've done here. It's things that can't be replaced. I enjoyed each and every day working with you guys. You guys made my life enjoyable every single day to come to work. My TV camera started with a lady named Ann Carroll. So I got to give her special thanks for starting me out with On the Job with B-Rob. It was kind of my first deal that I got to get on camera, and of course then it led to 96 questions and teammates being annoyed with me every day. I've already thanked my teammates and coaches, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say it again. Thank you. Thank you for making it easy to come to work every single day. Thank you for accepting me for who I am. I'm a little nutty. I'm a lot nutty. But you accepted me, and you laughed with me and not at me most of the time. I got to thank my team that I believe over the last 11 years has helped keep me on the field and keep me healthy. Jill McGee, Brent Aarons, All In, Lou, Alex, Bob, all the people at All In that every offseason trained me as hard as I could, pushed me to the point of failure, about lack of a way to put it. I want to thank my fans. I want to thank my fans because without them, we wouldn't have a job. We need to understand that each and day, that they're just people like us.